Hello, hello.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, perfect. And the presentation looks
Okay,
good. And you are recording.
great. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are just going to give a few more minutes for more people to get on. So just hang tight. All right, it is 12:02, so we are going to get started here. We are going to start out with a poll. Going to launch that. This is to get to know you. How many years have you been coordinating the Commuter Challenge? Great, we have some new coordinators this year. That's very exciting. All right, great. Most of us are here for the first time, so that's awesome. Thank you so much. And the poll, you can see the results here. There we go. All right, thank you so much for joining us. All right, so this is the Commuter Challenge 2020, a workplace coordinator webinar. Typically we do the workplace coordinator learning lunch, but this year we are doing it online. All right, so our agenda for today, going to do some introductions, talk about Commuter Challenge, how we're responding to COVID-19, going through the technology, introducing GoManitoba, providing you with details on the coordinator resources, going through promotions and strategic messaging, give you some information about Bike Everywhere Month, and then we'll have some time for Q&As. Right, so about GreenActionCentre. We are a nonprofit environmental organization. We're based in Winnipeg and we serve all of Manitoba. We mostly focus on sustainable transportation, composting and waste reduction, sustainable living, and resource conservation. And from GreenActionCentre today, my name is Nicole Roach and I am the Commuter Challenge Coordinator. And I am joined by Mel Marginet. I will let Mel say hi. I can figure that out right now.
Ta-da!
From Mel.
Hi, everybody.
Great.
I'm Mel.
Okay. All right, so that is Green Action Center. We have a number of program areas. We have active and safe routes to school. They primarily work with schools and kids to encourage walking and wheeling and biking to school. Right now they have Bike Everywhere Month going on, so you'll hear a bit more about that later on. The Commuter Challenge event, this is why we're all here. This program also does the Jack Frost Challenge event in February, which is a lot of fun. We also have the Workplace Commuter Options team, and they primarily work with workplaces and employees to help with sustainable commuting programs. Then on the waste reduction side, we have composting. They've been doing a lot of webinars recently, so if you want to learn more about composting, then I encourage that you follow them along. We have the Environmental Speakers Bureau, primarily goes into schools and offers presentations on environment and sustainability. And then our Living Green, Living Well program, they primarily focus on waste reduction and plastic reduction, but they also do general sustainability and living green tips. So the Sustainable Transportation team, we work with a number of different organizations, employers, schools, policymakers, community stakeholders, and the public at large, all supporting sustainable mode shifts in Manitoba. Though we offer a number of presentations on green commuting, bike route planning, cycling skills, bike maintenance, greening the workplace, lots of different presentations. We have the bike blender that we rent out for events. That's really, really fun way to spice up different parties you're having. We have our GoManitoba application. We'll give more details on that later. We also provide Go Happy commuting consulting services. So that includes surveys and recommendations. Then we also do a number of events. So Commuter Challenge, Jack Frost Challenge, Bike to School Month, Walktober, Clean Air Day, and much more. All right, so that is it for Green Action Center. We are going to get right into Commuter Challenge. So Commuter Challenge is an event that takes place across the country during Canadian Environment Week. So this year that falls on May 31st to June 6th. And Green Action Center, we are the coordinators of the event within the whole province of Manitoba. So it's a friendly competition between workplaces and cities that encourages commuters to choose sustainable modes of commuting. So this can be walking, wheeling, cycling, carpooling, taking transit, or working from home. To participate, workplaces can register online, and then the employees can sign up for their workplace and then log their sustainable commutes throughout the challenge week. And in Manitoba, we're happy to offer the event for free, and participating workplaces and employees are eligible for certificates and lots of prizes. So just some brief history about the event. It began in the 90s as a small sustainable commuting events happening throughout the country. They were all under different names with different formats. In the early 2000s, the Commuter Challenge became a national event, and they had representation from all provinces and territories. And then later on, Sustainable Alberta, they became the national coordinators, helping to administer the online programming. And they are still the coordinators today. And Green Action Center, we have been the provincial coordinators within Manitoba for the last 16 years. Of those 16 years, we've been crowned the province with the highest percentage of participation for the last 15 years. So we've been doing quite well, and we hope to keep that streak going. All right, so just as a reminder, if anyone has any questions, then you can enter them in the Q&A section. First, I'm going to do a poll to know how are you working right now. So what percentage of employees at your workplace are currently working from home? is great. Just a few more people to vote. Waiting on one more, then I can show everyone the results. All right, ending the poll now. And here are the results for everyone. So it looks like the majority of people are working from home currently, but then there are still many people who are commuting for essential jobs. All right, so COVID-19 response. So the global pandemic, it has affected everyone's lives in just about every way. This influences how we work, how we stay connected, and very significantly, it is having an impact on our mobility and how we're getting around. So we know that COVID-19 is posing additional challenges for many, but we feel that it's very important to keep the conversation about sustainable commuting going, especially as our mobility is changing so dramatically. So we're really happy that we're able to offer a 100% online version of the challenge for 2020 to keep this conversation going and keep coworkers connected during this time. So because commutes are looking different this year, so will the Commuter Challenge event. So our most notable changes will be to the public events, our kilometer logging criteria, the prizes, and the messaging that we're doing. For our public events, we are either moving public events online or canceling them altogether. So today it was scheduled for our learning lunch. We would all be having food together right now, but instead we are doing it in an online webinar format. So hopefully it's still good. On June 1st, we were scheduled to have a media launch. We were looking to do some really fun things this year to engage participants, but unfortunately we will have to push that back for next year. And then on June 3rd is Clean Air Day. So typically we have a very fun pit stop set up at the corner of Assiniboine and Osborne, where we hand out different treats like coffee and cinnamon buns and things like that. Very fun morning pit stop. But unfortunately this year we are doing something online. So we'll be working with the Active and Safe Routes to School team so that we can offer some family-friendly programming to help make the connection between air quality and sustainable transportation. And then on June 25th, we were scheduled to have the awards banquet, but unfortunately, we will be canceling that altogether and we will distribute the results in another way. Right, another change is to our kilometer logging criteria. So typically, Commuter Challenge, you are able to log kilometers for sustainable commutes. And we also allowed some essential trips if they were connected to the commutes in some way. But this year, we are allowing participants to log kilometers for commuting to an essential job, working from home, telecommuting. So for people to log these kilometers, they would just input the kilometers that they would have traveled if they were going to and from work. We're also allowing accessing essential goods and services, so going to the grocery store or going to the pharmacy, things like that, and also enjoying recreational activities. So we are encouraging people to get outside for a walk, for rollerblading, cycling, whatever that may be. And people will be able to log kilometers for that as well. So this is our way to encourage people to be shopping local and thinking about every trip. And also if people are working from home, then we're still encouraging people to get outside and get active. And hopefully during the week, if they are getting on their bike or walking more, then they will carry on those behaviors when they go back to work, if that's their situation. So this is how we are proceeding this year, and we hope that it will help with participation. All right, our prizes. Usually we're very excited to announce a number of grand prizes that we have. Unfortunately, this is a very different year. Typically we receive prize donations from businesses in Manitoba. This year it did not feel appropriate for us to request prize donations given the economic circumstances that many businesses are dealing with. So instead, we will be purchasing gift cards and small prizes from local businesses, primarily businesses that have provided donations to us in the past. So this is our way to give back. We will be publishing our full prize list very soon, so keep an eye out for that. You will definitely receive an email update. All right, and messaging is another thing that is being changed. So this has been an ongoing challenge for us. We have to recognize that people are still commuting to essential jobs. There are many more people currently working from home. And there are also people who have lost their jobs, either temporarily or permanently. So we're trying to take all of these circumstances into consideration with our messaging. And we're also always looking to the provincial health guidelines and recommendations related to transportation. So making sure that everything that we are saying is in line with guidelines to ensure the proper physical distancing and the proper health guidelines are being followed. So it's been a bit of a challenge thus far, and I recognize that it's probably challenging for many of you as well. But hopefully later on we'll be able to provide you with a few more tips for how to tailor your messaging and do promotions accordingly. All right, so we are going to walk through the Commuter Challenge system. So we have a combination of photos and screenshots, and then I will also jump back into the actual program so then I can walk you through it. So just bear with me as I'm changing between the presentation and the web page. Right, so the basic steps for setting up your workplace is to register your workplace, log in as a workplace coordinator, set up your account, find your unique registration link, log kilometers, and track results. So to register your workplace, you can go to commuterchallenge.ca, and then you will find these 4 options on the home page. And then to register, you would select workplace. So just to show you a few quick ways to access that, if you go to GreenActionCentre.ca, and then under here, you select transportation, then you hit Commuter Challenge. Then you scroll down. And then you can select register your workplace. So these are all quick links to help you access the Commuter Challenge website. So I will hit register your workplace, and it takes me to this page. All right, so to register your workplace, you input your province, Manitoba, your location, your contact details, and the number of employees at your workplace. It's important to get the number of employees at your workplace correct, because that is the number that is used to determine the percentage of participation. All right, and then to log in as a coordinator, you can do a few things. If you're on our website, you can hit log your kilometers, and then it comes up with individual participant, individual session, and then you look below here and it says workplace, question mark. You hit workplace, and then it comes up and it says workplace coordinator, and then you hit go. All right, so that's logging in. Or if you are on the commuterchallenge.ca website, then you can hit login and you'll come to a similar page. Right, so do this, you select workplace, and then it changes to workplace coordinator. and then setting up your account. So in the top right corner, there are these different options. All right, I will jump back into the system here. Okay, so once I'm logged in, then it shows me how many employees I have, how many are registered. Right now it's just me, but I will send the URL to the rest of my employees and or the rest of my coworkers, and hopefully they will register with me soon. And then these commute mode results, this should only show results during the challenge week because people should not be recording kilometers until then. And then I can go to profile to set up my profile. So this is my information here. And note that you cannot edit employee total here, but you can edit it under your cities. And if you hit this little pencil icon, then you're able to edit the number of employees. So just keep that in mind. And then right here is where I have a customized registration URL. So when I click that, it will take me to a page that says you are registering for GreenActionCentre in Winnipeg. So this is a really great way to help your coworkers register for the correct team, no problem. Otherwise, they will have to go to the main registration page and search through a number of workplaces to select your workplace. So sharing the unique registration link makes it easy for everyone. And then another feature here is for adding multiple locations and multiple cities. So under here, you have your cities. I can hit this little icon here. It says add city. And then I would choose Manitoba, enter the city or town, and then input the number of employees at that location, and then input the postal code. And then the same thing for locations within a city. So this can be different addresses, different buildings, floors, or departments if you want to have inter-office competitions. So the same thing, you hit add location, you select your city, and then you input the location name and the postal code and add. So you can do this as many times as necessary. And that's pretty much it. We'll go back into the presentation here. All right. So the difference with the URLs is that if you have multiple cities, then there will be multiple unique registration links. And if there are multiple locations, then there will only be one URL. And when people are sent to that URL, then they will be prompted to select one of the locations or departments that you have set up. All right, and finding your URL, again, you look under profile, and then under your locations will be right here. It's important that you don't use URLs from previous years, or else that will complicate, it will mess up the results. So ensure that you're getting a new URL each year, and you should be good to go. And then logging kilometers. So again, logging kilometers only takes place during the challenge week from May 31st to June 6th. There are two ways to log kilometers. One is individual logging, so where each employee is responsible for logging their kilometers for each day of the challenge. So logistically, this is easier for coordinators because everyone is doing it themselves. However, you may have challenges getting people to log their kilometers. So it depends what you want to do. And then the other option is to do bulk entry logging, where a workplace coordinator does a manual bulk entry one time at the end of the week. So this is a great option if you have employees that do not have an email address, or if people do not want to log kilometers themselves. but it can end up being more work for you. But we do have some email or some spreadsheet templates available in our resources, so I will show you those later on. Right, so to log individual kilometers, you can access this page through the main Commuter Challenge page or the page on our website. You can just hit log kilometers, and then it's very simple. You go in and you choose the day. It will pop down with the days of the Commuter Challenge week. Then you select the mode that you traveled, and then you input the distance. So pretty simple. And then the bulk entry logging. So you would access this by selecting the bulk entry option on the top right corner, and then you will get to this, this kind of page. So it will show you the number of participants that you have, and then it will show you the amount of kilometers for each mode. So if you are doing bulk entry, then it is really important that you also share the spreadsheet with us, so then your individual employees can also qualify for prizes. Because if you simply enter the information through bulk entry, we have no idea who did what, and so we can't enter them for prizes. So that is something to keep in mind if you want everyone to win a prize, or everyone to qualify for a prize, which I'm sure that you do. So just keep that in mind if you are using the bulk entry option. All right, and then tracking results. So again, at the top right corner, there's the option for results, and then you will see this button here. It says download full report to Excel, and it will show you who has registered, who has logged kilometers, etc. So if you see that many people are not registered or have not logged their kilometer information, then they may need a reminder from you. So typically I end up with a number of these sheets, because to see any results, you have to download a sheet. So just be prepared to download these multiple times, and that will have all of the information you need. All right, and troubleshooting. The website typically gives people challenges, so if you're experiencing challenges, I assure you it is not you. It could be more user-friendly for sure. So if you have entered your workplace twice, then you can contact me at GreenActionCentre. You can reach me at challenge@greenactioncentre.ca. So as a provincial coordinator, this is really the only thing I can change on the back end. So contact me if you've entered your workplace twice. But other than that, I don't have a lot of powers in accessing the back end. So if you forget your password, if data was entered incorrectly, if people signed up for the wrong location, the system is malfunctioning, or pretty much any technical issues, then you can contact Sustainable Alberta at info@commuterchallenge.ca. If you prefer to go through me, then I can pass along your request to Sustainable Alberta, but just keep in mind that I'm very limited in what I can actually do on the back end, and try to be patient with us, as we are just two people trying to solve all of these technical issues. So your patience is very appreciated. All right, so while we're talking tech, we are going to give a short intro about GoManitoba. I'm going to bring Mel back. In just a moment. Mel, are you able to show your video now?
It says no, it says you cannot start your video because the hostess stopped it.
Okay.
I could start chatting though if you like.
Does it work now?
No, for some reason it just is giving me a block.
Hmm. Right. Selected allow panelists to start video. I've selected that.
Hmm. Oh, there we go.
Great.
Here I am. Hello. Yes, so I am here to talk about GoManitoba at Green Action Center. That's a lot of what I do in my work with the workplace commuter options team is to kind of help coordinate this tool across the province. So GoManitoba is a branch of RideShark. So long story short, Green Action Center has always tried to promote carpooling in our work for sustainable transportation. We would hear about the high interest of people who were interested in carpooling, but then over and over we'd see a really low participation in carpooling. Long story short, carpooling is both very simple but very difficult. So it's getting two people together to travel together on a trip that they're both going to make to kind of share the ride. But what you need is you need to have somebody who lives near you or along your route and who's going to the same place as you at relatively the same time. So what was happening in the past was workplaces were kind of trying to coordinate carpools within their workplace. So trying to match people up, but there wasn't a high enough amount of people to make that really good match. So it was a real struggle to make it work. But what's come along in the past number of years is technology. So GoManitoba, what it does is it can link people from across the province together. So it doesn't really matter if you're not working for the same workplace or going to the same school, but if you're going to relatively the same place at relatively the same time. So what it does is it allows people to register for free. They create a profile and then they can make their trips. You can have a number of trips as well. So if you work shift work, if you maybe have your work trip and your school trip, so you can put a number of those in. You set up your profile for your preferences. You set up where you're starting from and where you're going to and what time you want to arrive. And then once that's all set up, you click on Find Commute Options and magically all of your trip options appear to you. So obviously it shows carpool partners, but GoManitoba does more. It also shows you transit routes, cycling routes, walking routes, and people that you match up to perhaps be a mentor if you want to try that, but you've never done it before, you're a little bit nervous. So it's really great to show people a whole suite of options for all of their different trips. Can we advance the slide, Nicole? Thank you. So for example, here you can see that Sarah, where she's starting from and where she's going to, and then or no, this is a different person and then Sarah's the match. So what you see here is sort of a breakdown of when Sarah is arriving at her destination, where she the time that she's departing. So if this sort of works for you and you're like, okay, Sarah could be a possible match for me, you can then choose to reach out to her. So it's really important to note that you can see here, there's no personal information. So we're not seeing Sarah's last name. We're not seeing where she's from. You can't zoom in on this map. It's sort of a static point. It's also randomized, so it's always going to move around a little bit. So you can never really find somebody's home address or very much personal information about them. Okay, and then so you're going to see a number of different icons on the back end as you're moving through. So you can see the email option for the person if you wanted to reach out to them. And then you can also see here the mentor option is the person kind of with the little cap and gown, so they're willing to be an instructor. And looking more towards the left there, you can see if they're male, female. You can see if they're a smoker or a non-smoker, and then their star rating. So this person has put that they're a level 5 for biking, so they have lots of experience. And then what you can also do on the back end, and what we're seeing right now in this kind of COVID world that people are really interested in, is tracking their travel. So you can track your trips right now to really see that impact that you're having environmentally by telecommuting. When you go to the track your travel, the calendar window, you can see on the left that there's a number of icons. And so you would simply, if you're making a trip for the first time, drag it over into the calendar, entering the details for that trip. And then at the end, if this is a trip that you make often, you can save your trip. So you can see, if we look on, for example, the first, where we have these 2 transit icons, in the top right, you can see an X. So you'd hit that if, like, oops, you made a mistake. And then on the left is a little save icon. So if you hit that, then boom, you can see on the left-hand side here, my save trips. So perhaps you bike to work sometimes, so bike to work, or you maybe have carpool to volleyball, or you can name your trips as it would be handy for you. Then in the future, when you're logging trips, you can simply drag and drop from the left. So in this person's case, they probably have just 1 trip that they regularly make, and they do it in many different ways. So they're just gonna drag and drop perhaps once a week into the calendar from those trips. You'll also notice on the left that it has my vehicles. So you can put your vehicle down there. So anytime in the future, when you make a trip, maybe you go on a weekend camping trip, and you put things in, you can, instead of selecting the type and the model of the car, yada, yada, you can just simply select your vehicle. And then along the top, it'll show you kind of the breakdown for that month of the trips logged, the kilometers that you're traveling, and the GHG emissions that you're producing and saving. So right now, obviously, it's a little bit tough for carpooling. So it's not really, we're not recommending it. Obviously, if you're an essential traveler, if you go to the GoManitoba site, we've linked to the provincial recommendations on how you can commute, how they recommend if you are carpooling, things like, you know, 1 person sits in the front, 1 person sits in the back, how important it is to wipe down the surfaces after, keeping the windows open to keep some air circulation. But as much as possible right now is probably not the best time for carpooling, but it's also a really great time if you're out perhaps biking more, walking more. Now is a great time to reach out to those mentors. So if you're putting a trip in there, you'll see people within your neighborhood who perhaps bike all the time, and you can reach out to them through the app via email just to ask, like, oh, I usually go this way, I find this part's a little bit tricky, do you have any suggestions? They might know of routes that you should try, or maybe that you didn't know that there was a really great bike route, maybe 1 street over or a few blocks over. So this is a really great time to kind of reach out to people and to sort of make those networks in a safe way.
Great, all good now?
Is that the last screen? I thought there was 1 more, maybe not.
That's it.
That's it. Ta-da!
Okay.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A about GoManitoba. We always have special prizes during the Commuter Challenge for people who do log trips with the commuting tool. So we encourage you to do that.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mel. All right, so moving on to coordinator resources. This is everything that we have available for you to help you coordinate the Commuter Challenge. So we have a place on our website called the Coordinator Corner. This is your one-stop shop for everything you need. So to show you how to get there, I will go to Green Action Center, Transportation, Commuter Challenge, and then we're here on this page. And then I'm going to scroll down just slightly. And then I have this big button right here, it says Go to Coordinator Corner. All right, so this page looks pretty similar, but it's got different stuff. And this is how you register your workplace. This is how you register for the webinar that is happening right now. So thank you for registering. And then the events. And then this is really the sweet spot of where you want to go. So these are the essentials. So we have our resources and we have our materials. So we will look at our resources first. So here, this takes you to a Google folder. So here we have our kilometer tracking spreadsheets. So this is for individual kilometer tracking. This is what you can distribute to individuals in your workplace. And then we also have bulk entry spreadsheet that you can use for combining everyone's information. And then we also have this is a software manual that was prepared by Sustainable Alberta. So this has more information about troubleshooting and how to go through registering your workplace and things like that. Then we have the presentation from last year, but once we are finished here, then I will update that. And then we also have the Workplace Coordinator Resource Guide. So this is also from 2019, but this will be updated as soon as we are done here as well. So that is it for resources. And then the other option is materials. So in the materials folder, we have a whole lot. First, I'll go to posters. So we have posters available in English and French. And something that is very cool this year is that we have multiple poster options. So you can use them depending on how people are commuting in your workplace. So here we have our main poster with all of the combined modes. Fresh new look this year. But then if all of your coworkers are working from home, then this could be an appropriate image to use. So it's up to you. We have lots of different options here, and again, the same are available in French. And then from that, we also have graphics available. So here we have some fun little icons, and then we also have social media graphics in English and French. So we have graphics available in square and rectangular format. So these are really great to use on social media, in emails, drop it into your Slack channel, whatever works for you. So we have lots of options there for you to use. And again, we have all of these options available in French as well. And then we have logos for Commuter Challenge. We also have some sample copy for social media posts if you want to share to your social media channels to say that you are taking on the challenge. We have GoManitoba materials, a number of posters and graphics that you can use. And we have some email templates as well. So this is also available through MailChimp, but then we have a text version available here, and we will continue adding to that and to the resources and materials folder to get you everything that you need. All right, so back into the presentation. Great. Okay, so we will continue adding to those. And if you have any feedback of things that you feel would help you coordinate, then feel free to reach out to me and I will do my best to add those resources for you. All right, now into promotions. Okay, so promoting the challenge may come with additional challenges this year. As I talked about earlier, the number of considerations that we have to make. So you may have to make adjustments to how you communicate, how you frame the challenge, how you drive participation. Don't worry, we're figuring it out as we go, right along with you. So feel free to reach out if you want to get help with that. So here are some recommendations. So in your promotions, it's recommended to be somewhat vague without being ignorant. So don't ignore the realities of COVID-19, but try to be somewhat vague so that you're still able to focus on the positives. I'm sure many of you have received emails, all of them starting with, in light of COVID-19, in response to COVID-19, in these unprecedented times. So many people have already received these kind of messages. So I would encourage you to try to stay away from that framing and to try to focus on the positives that can come with sustainable commuting and participating in Commuter Challenge. Next, so typically for Commuter Challenge, we focus on trip replacements. So replacing someone driving to and from work generally, but this year we are also focusing on trip additions. So if someone is working from home, then we would also encourage them to go for a leisurely walk or rollerblade. So this can be really effective to encourage coworkers to get active and get outdoors. We've seen some really great uptake in fitness challenges on social media. I'm sure many of you have seen the push-up challenges and different things that have been going on. So this is a good way to encourage health and wellness at your workplace if people are at work or at home. It's also important to help people to overcome barriers. This has always been a focus for Commuter Challenge. If people just don't really have the options at their disposal. So try to do what you can. Show them where to get a bike, how to tune their bike, how to plan their route, how to pack groceries on a bike, where to go for a walk, how to ride with their family, different things like that. And this will obviously be tailored to the unique situations of your coworkers and at your workplace. And we will do our best to support you in this. We will be releasing a number of videos and additional resources and blogs in the coming weeks to help people overcome these barriers. Another great tip is to try collect individual stories and examples to share with the rest of your coworkers. So as an example, say you have an employee named Joanna. Joanna has committed to walking to and from the grocery store while she's working from home. This has given her the opportunity to catch up with friends and neighbors from a safe distance. And that's something she wouldn't have been able to do if she had driven to and from the grocery store. And then Joanna has signed the pledge to continue walking to essential services beyond Commuter Challenge. So join her. So this is a good way to show your coworkers that other people are taking part and hopefully inspire and motivate them. And if you have stories, we would really, really appreciate it if you shared them with us as well, because that is always valuable for us to share the different circumstances and different stories of how people are moving around at this time. And then another thing, this is a messaging sequence that we encourage that can help with behavior change among your coworkers. So this example is used for cycling. So start out with remember how fun biking was. Go dust off your bike, try it out, take it for a ride. And then once people start doing that, I encourage them to keep doing it, make it a part of their routine, go a few times a week, go every day, and then encourage them to not stop. So help them maintain those behavior when lockdown ends or when they go back to work or whatever their circumstance is. So this is a really good time to encourage people to try new things and form better habits, because for a lot of people, their typical routine has been interrupted. So this is something to try out, especially if you're looking at doing a like multiple promotions leading up to Commuter Challenge. So this is a good way to frame your messaging. And then probably the most important thing with your communications is to ensure that what you are saying is in line with provincial health guidelines. So again, it's important to stress the importance of physical distancing, but try not to stress it so much that it takes away from the positive messages. So you can stay up to date with the transportation guidelines. This is available on our FAQ page for Commuter Challenge, but you can also access this through a number of emails. All right. And then just basic promotion tips is to send an email to your colleagues. You can use our email template, post to social media to say that your workplace is taking on the challenge. We have sample copy that you can use, and hang posters in your workplace if that is applicable, or share our graphics to your Slack channel or however you are communicating with your coworkers right now. And then to go above and beyond, you can implement policy, facility, and program changes at your workplace. You can create participation incentives within your workplace, so offering unique prizes available. You can send regular email updates for information on prizes, events, rankings, and anything else to help motivate them. So I will be communicating with all participants, but it really helps if it is also coming from their workplace. You can challenge another workplace or location. You can encourage coworkers to sign a pledge to continue sustainable commuting. That will be available soon. And then celebrate your successes. So if people have committed to making a change, then really celebrate that. All right, so for these things, it is always good to have a plan and to have some goals. This year, it is somewhat challenging to determine reasonable goals, but just do the best you can. So just take a little time to think about how do you plan to get the word out to people at your workplace? How are people communicating right now? How do you plan to motivate people at your workplace to try sustainable commuting or get outside? This may be for the first time ever. How do you plan to get to them? And then what percentage of participation are you hoping to achieve in 2020? So this may be difficult to determine, but try to come up with your best estimate and work towards that goal. And if you need help developing a plan, then feel free to get in touch with me, and we can talk things through. All right, so we're just going to touch really briefly on this, nudging the commute. So individuals form a habit when a behavior is repeated frequently in a stable context. So as an example of this, driving alone to and from work, it's generally a fairly pleasant experience in that they get where they want to go in a relatively timely manner, generally don't have to pay much for parking, not too many issues. So to change this habit, it's most effective to create a disruption to that routine and provide additional interventions, such as carrots and sticks, which is offering incentives and also disincentives. So with the disruption that COVID-19 has presented for many, it's really the best time to encourage more sustainable habits. Time for change is right now, so try to take advantage of that. So we are actually going to be talking much more about this in an upcoming webinar on May 27th. We're going to be talking about commuting post-pandemic. So mobility is changing very quickly, and this is the time for us to make sure that it is changing for the better. So we're going to walk through what kind of policies you can put in place to ensure that people who used to drive stop driving, and people who used to commute sustainably don't start driving. as a result of this disruption. So this is a really good webinar to tune into. You will definitely receive email updates about this, and we hope that you're able to join us. All right, and then we have Bike Everywhere Month, which is happening right now. Right now, we are not biking to school this year, so instead we are changing this to Bike Everywhere Month. So this is a replacement to Bike to School Month. So this is a series of challenges, activities, outdoor adventures, and indoor learning. You can play, you can celebrate for a day or a week or a month using our online activity kit. So May is underway, but you can still take part. So you can sign up with your kids, your family, your classroom, or school to participate. So this is a great activity to do with the family, if you have a family, and help you get ready for Commuter Challenge. So this is a great thing to share with your coworkers if they're looking for something to do this month. You can find more information about this at greenactioncentre.ca/ASRTS. Great, and we'd like to give a huge thank you to our sponsors. We have Government of Manitoba, City of Winnipeg, Winnipeg Transit, IG Wealth Management, Manitoba Hydro, Assiniboine Credit Union, and Crosstown Civic Credit Union. So thank you so much for supporting us, especially during this time. So greatly appreciated from us. All right, I'm going to bring Mel back. Mel, are you able to come back on your own?
Let me see. Oop, oh, there I am. Hello. Yeah, right now we so far don't have any questions. So I'd encourage people in the next minute or so, if you do have something to ask, just input that. And yeah, happy to answer any questions you have. Great presentation, Nicole. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions.
Well, if anyone comes up with, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you can also put them in the chat if people are confused about where to find the Q&A panel. I'm also monitoring that. But.
Great.
Oh, when can we expect the prize info to come out?
Great question. You can expect that. It's scheduled to go out tomorrow, actually. So we'll have the general prize information posted tomorrow, but then we may be making adjustments to that in the next few weeks, hopefully to be adding more prizes, but we hope to have something out tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I have a question here from Maureen. Since we're not working in our building, it's hard for us to know the workplace number. Do you have any suggestions for that?
No. Yeah, that's really something to determine internally. Think about how many people are generally working in your office, and that's probably the best number that you can go with. So contact your HR if you have human resources. Contact whoever is in charge, and hopefully they have those numbers for you.
Great. And then it was good that you noted also that if people do need to update that, they can get in touch with you if they find out, oops, that it was disrupted. There's a question here, just to reiterate the situation with prizes. Let's tuned in just a little bit late, so they're just wondering what the situation is for prizes this year.
Oh, great. So typically we request prize donations, and this year we are not doing prize donations. Instead, we are purchasing all of our prizes from the businesses that need our support right now. So we've chosen businesses based on who have supported us in the past. So this is our way to give back. So for prizes, you can expect a lot of small prizes. Mostly things are $25 gift cards. And I saw another question come through. So the prize categories, they will be announced with the prizes. For prize categories, you can expect prizes for different modes and social media and workplace prizes. And we're going to try to do something to celebrate essential workers as well, and tailor prizes based on the commuting mode.
Perfect. Oh, and there was a good note here too, to work with human resources if you're having trouble knowing who the amount of employees at your workplace currently. Just if you can reach out to your human resource team, they can provide you up-to-date information. Great. Okay, I don't think I'm seeing any more questions. Yeah, Sissa?
Okay, great. Then everyone should expect an email from me today or tomorrow, and I will include the link to the presentation and hopefully the prize blog post as well. And if anyone has any questions later on, then you can always reach out to me, and we will try to solve the problems, because this year there are additional challenges, so we're just going to try to work through things together as best as we can. So thank you so much, everyone, for being along for this ride, and for continuing to support the Commuter Challenge event. We really, really appreciate your participation and your involvement, because we need everyone on board to help shift modes towards more sustainable modes in Manitoba. All right, so thank you so much. We are going to wrap it up there then. All right, have a good day, everyone.